30 years ago, when IDE was founded, aid and development was much different than it is today. It was all about sending food to Africa, giving things, giving sacks of flour, giving American wheat, giving all kinds of things to Africa. Well, 30 years ago, our founder, Paul Pollock, he was a psychiatrist. He went to Africa and took a different approach. He was a psychiatrist, and he knew that to learn about their problems, the best way was to walk in their shoes. So he spoke with hundreds and then thousands of farmers about what they need. And through these interviews, through understanding their challenges, he realized the best way to help them was not to give them things, but instead to create companies that would help them work their way out of poverty. In our first 30 years, IDE has enabled more than 3.5 million poor households to increase their income by $300 a year on average. And that has directly benefited more than 20 million people. Now by 2020, we hope to double this, reaching a total of 7 million households, thereby impacting approximately 40 million people. One way we'd like to do this is specifically in Africa with our 10 Million Bucket Farmers initiative. Each day, millions and millions of African farmers have to carry water to their fields, sometimes from 2 miles away or even further. With one of our pumps and with growing high-value crops, these farmers can change the way they live. It's a fundamental shift in their lives, and we hope to reach another 10 million people that way. IDE is a true pioneer of market-based development. We refuse to give things away or to use direct subsidies. Experience shows these approaches are not sustainable, and they even distort the market, making it even harder for farmers to get ahead. Instead, we require all our products to be purchased by our smallholder clients. This approach was met with resistance when we began in 1982. But since then, thinking has evolved, and many organizations and donors have come around to adopt this market-based approach. With 30 years of experience working with the private sector to provide goods and services to the rural poor, we are uniquely positioned to succeed. We also believe that we need to light a spark to start the market, to find a product or service that the rural poor really need, design it appropriately so it fits, and then make sure it gets to them to market. We don't believe in handouts. We believe they should pay. Not a lot, but they should pay what they can so that they can use that product, feel proud of it, take care of it, and it will generate income for years to come. That's what makes us effective. For us at IDE, success is measured in 3 ways. First, we want to make sure we're having an impact in the lives of our rural partners. We want to see their income come up, typically by at least $300 per year. Second, we want to see a lot of families take advantage of this. We want to see hundreds of thousands and then millions of people benefit from what we do. And the third thing, as an organization, we'd like to be cost effective. And for us, our current metric is that for every $1 invested, that generates $10 in the pockets of the rural poor. Those 3 things are the main drivers of what we consider good, effective work. What we're most known for is our water pumps, especially our treadle pump, which there's more than 2 million on the market today. And this is an effective tool. But of course it takes more than water to grow crops. You also need seed and fertilizer and an understanding of how to grow the crops. And that's why we at IDE have done more to help farmers grow what they need to grow. We've introduced a Farm Business Advisor program where community members serve as an expert where they live to help the other farmers adopt and grow. And we also help them access new seeds and fertilizer through a product catalog and local companies. The other thing that we're known for is, of course, the technology. But how did it get there? How did we get that technology? We did it by listening to the rural poor. And we actually have a process we go through to better understand that and develop new products. And so we're constantly looking at products and seeing what works. And right now, we're working on a new solar pump, which can provide water for a village of up to 16,000 people. That will serve those people for generations to come. We've been recognized with many awards, from UN Habitat's Award for the Living Environment, to the Ashton Award given by Prince Charles, or the Wharton School gave us an award for our sanitation work. But the real impact, the real pride we have is when we work with folks like the Mwanza brothers, like Busu in Ethiopia, when we see their income rise, when we see them get $300, $400, $500 in their pocket, maybe even $1,000 in some cases. That is what makes us really proud, because we see what they do with the money. They use it to pay school fees. They put better food on the table. They buy health care. They buy medicine. And this stuff really changes their lives for the better. IDE is sometimes misunderstood. That because we sell products occasionally, that we should be able to profit off them. And therefore, why do we need donor money? Well, the reality is that delivering products in these environments is very difficult. The market infrastructure is very poor. Education levels are sometimes low. We really have to do a lot to get the product to market, both in training people and building up the channels to help deliver these products. To light the spark, to get the big numbers of impact, we must spend a lot of effort on the front end to build that system and get to the high numbers of impact. At the same time, it's very important that people buy these products rather than take them as a handout. When you buy something, you own it. You feel proud of it. You maintain it. You make sure it's there next year and the year after. And that's when you get good impact at the household level for those families year after year. With additional resources, we work on three things. First, we want to transform the lives of African farmers, especially bucket farmers. And those are the farmers that walk 2, 3, even 4 miles to get water by bucket and haul it back to their farm. Install a pump on their farm, and it's life-changing for them. Second, we'd really like to expand what we call our Farm Business Advisor program. That's where one farmer in the community that has a good knowledge of agriculture can train his neighbors in how to adopt seed, fertilizer, and do farming techniques so that they can grow more high-value crops, and it results in more income for the entire village. And third, we'd like to expand our sanitation market program. Now keep in mind that for children under 5 in the developing world, more are killed each year by diarrheal diseases than AIDS or measles or malaria combined. So what we'd like to do is work on eliminating diarrheal diseases through installation and use of latrines in those villages. Another water problem, but incredibly helpful to these communities. The gaps in the developing world with water and hygiene are enormous, and we have a lot of work to do. But at home, at our headquarters in Denver, we've recently found an old building, 120 years old, and we're moving into it with 26 other international nonprofit groups that want to learn from our experience. We've been around 30 years, and so we've learned something about doing this work. And we hope to inspire some of these younger, newer groups that are just starting in areas like solar lighting or education. The new center is called the Posner Center for International Development, and it's in an impoverished area of Denver. So now we can live and practice what we preach at home too.